Pardon me.
Whoa. Maybe. Hey, you.
Anyway, the very same night we liberated the capital, a messenger arrived from Deirdre. Claude must have predicted that we'd retake it. Claude's a hard person to read. It's obvious not much escapes his eye, though. Kind of unsettling, honestly.
Claude, eh? He always was sharp among his peers. Never let himself get caught up in conventions. He wasn't typical in Fodlan. I'd like to save him if we can. You may be right.
A hungry hero is no better than a well-fed soldier. Do you know that saying? No? That's because I just made it up. If you're hungry, you're never going to be at full strength. Keep your belly full and stay strong.
Cooking? I can handle that. What's the next step? It's easy if I have orders to follow. Sure.
That reminds me.
I went to visit my adoptive father at his home in the capital. He used to grovel at Cornelia's feet when the city was under her control. But after it was liberated, he started courting the kingdom instead. I suppose he was just doing what he needed to survive. No matter what becomes of the world, it'll always be plagued by people like him.
Deirdre, huh? I've always wanted to go there. In Fargus, most of the towns are pretty much glorified fortresses. So, to hear about a place called the Aquatic Capital, it just sounds so elegant. When the war's over, I hope I can visit with everyone there.
Professor? Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Deirdre is known as the Aquatic Capital. It's a beautiful town with streets that seem to float on the water and an impressive harbor. In times of peace, it would be a wonderful place for a holiday. Anyway. Hey!
We can't actually join you on the battlefield, but rest assured that we're there in spirit. We're doing everything we can to support the army. So give it your all out there.
Hey!
What do you require? Farewell.
What?
Hello there. This one, yes? I thank you. Return soon, please.
Really now? There's unrest everywhere these days. I hope things go back to normal soon. Hey, how about a favor? I hope things... Welcome! Is that the one? Thanks a bunch. 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 Come back soon.
Let's see, it was over 20 years ago. There was an illness raging across Fhirdiad, while people were dying left and right. It was Cornelia who saved the kingdom from that dreadful illness. No, I hear she was originally an imperial scholar. She was in the kingdom by my father's invitation. People praised Cornelia as a saint for ending the epidemic. But there came a day when she completely changed. Her behavior, mannerisms, likes, dislikes, everything. Despite all that, Father still appointed her to a high post. After all, she had saved the kingdom from ruin by that disease. But above all, my stepmother trusted her. That's why what that woman said is... Never mind.
Lord Rodrigue Fraldarius has passed on. Margrave Gautier has assumed his position and is now gathering the lords of the Eastern Territories. House Gautier is equal in prestige to House Fraldarius. Sylvain is a Gautier. These lords are reorganizing the Fargus army and eradicating any remaining factions that claim allegiance to the Empire. Of course, His Highness is being kept apprised with regular reports. But it falls to me to monitor him and ensure he does not try to take on too much. I would ask you to do the same. If you take your eyes off that man, even for a moment, he is liable to do something rash. Lord Margaret House got these lord of court, but it fall. I would ask. For me. Thank you. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't.
People, but they're but above. People, but they're but above. Thank you.
I'm glad Dimitri and Claude don't have to fight one another. I am the daughter of an Alliance Lord, though, so I suppose that goes without saying. Having to fight with your former classmates is just so terribly sad.
Professor, it'll take a little while yet for the capital to be restored to its former glory, but it's not dead yet. Doesn't matter how many times you put the people of Fhirdiad down. They'll get right back up again. Just you watch. Before long, things will be back to how they were.
Your Highness, You still have scars on your back. It does you no good to languish in pain. I will procure some medicine.
No, it is fine. Though they are still deep, these are from 9 years ago. They do not hurt any longer. And besides, it would be a shame if the scars I got from protecting you were to fade. I bear these scars proudly. It makes me think that it was worthwhile that someone like me survived.
To hear you say such things.
You say that I saved you. But do you know that you also saved me that day? If I had been unable to save anyone, I would have been the sole survivor. I would have had no reason to keep living. But I saved someone. Saved you. That and that alone has always been my crutch.
When I stood before those soldiers and their swords that day, I was prepared to die. But then, you suddenly appeared, and you shielded me. I knew then that a savior's hand could reach into even the deepest darkness. I still have not been able to repay that debt.
Have you not heard a word I've said? You have saved me in countless ways. 5 years ago, I did nothing but await my execution within my jail cell. Was it not you that saved me?
That was nothing more than my duty as your vassal.
Listen, perhaps you consider me to be someone special, but I think the same of you. You are irreplaceable, cherished. So stop saying that we cannot be friends. Stop saying such awful things.
Please, do not look at me that way. You promised me you would build a kingdom that is proud to boast of Duscar blood. In this kingdom, where there is no distinction between the people of Duscar and the people of Fodlan, will I finally, without reservation, be able to call you my friend? Will I, Dimitri?
Dedu. Yes, you will call me your friend again and again, no matter how many hardships I must endure.
I will do all I can to bring about that world as well. To be your friend is what I have always wanted.
Is that so? I am...
But until that time, we must allow no harm to befall you. So please call upon me when you walk alone at night. And even when you go out in the day, please tell me where you are going and whom you are meeting.
In the end, I suppose there is no fixing your overprotectiveness, is there? I suppose I can live with that.
Training on your own? You really do work hard.
I hate to break it to you, Sylvain, but there's nobody here for you to flirt with. So there's not much reason to hang around.
You're here, aren't you?
How ridiculous. Almost as ridiculous as your face.
You'd really say something like that to a handsome guy like me? I'm crushed. Joking aside, may I join you? I only came out here so I could train too.
Sure, just don't get in my way.
I've been thinking about it, and I really depend on you. Maybe that's weird since I'm older than you, but still.
Hitting on me? Again? Have some dignity, would you?
No, I'm being honest. I thought you'd listen. Hey, I'd like it if you didn't get too far away from me on the battlefield, okay? Just stay where I can see you.
I'll stay as long as I can. You're useless without me, after all.
What? No, I'm saying if there's one thing I can do on the battlefield, it's keep you safe.
Whatever helps you feel better. Stay and protect me, then. I couldn't bear it if you went off and died on me while I wasn't around.
I'm pretty sure that's my line.
It's getting late. We'd better head out.
You're right. I'm exhausted anyway.
You haven't been practicing enough. All that time you waste chasing after women would be better spent training. I'll train with you anytime, so just... What's that strange look for?
I just... Oh, well, you're going to think I'm being a jerk or hitting on you or whatever. When we're side by side like this, training, I feel, I don't know, oddly at ease.
I know what you mean. It's probably because we've been friends for so long.
That must be it. Let's never change. Friends forever?
Absolutely. No matter what happens, we'll always be friends, Sylvain. Why are you sighing at me like that? Is my face really so hopeless?
Ingrid, I am trying to think of something polite to say right now. It's as if you have no experience dressing elegantly. At all.
I mean, I don't. Dorothea, I appreciate you taking the time, but yes, we're in the middle of a war. It hasn't been my top priority.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be so hard on you. I was just surprised, is all. A gal like you're a beautiful young noblewoman who somehow has no experience with either makeup or fashion. This is basic stuff, Ingrid. The basics of the basics, really.
It may be basic for you, but I'm only just now learning. Annette has been taking the time to show me, actually.
Still, I can't believe you didn't know anything about it before her.
I was just never interested before. Even as a child, it never appealed to me. Fussy, pretty things always felt unnecessary. And gussing myself up to attract someone has never played an important part in my pursuits as a knight. But you've piqued my interest in all this.
How?
It's not like I'd be dressing myself up just to attract someone. I'd be dressing up for the occasion, specifically. Even if I don't dress up any other time, a special occasion such as this is a good reason to try it out.
Well, yeah. That's why we dress up when we go out. You might meet someone, and you want to look your best, don't you? Get their attention, lure them in.
That's the exact opposite of what I just said. You said previously that dressing up for the occasion is reason enough.
Oh, I just said that so you wouldn't run off screaming.
I see.
My real point is that you're quite lovely even before getting all fixed up. Absolutely bewitching, in fact. So when I'm finished with you, well, someone looking at you could be forgiven for wanting to pounce.
Could they be? I don't know that I'd forgive them.
Oh, I know. That's why just before I lunge, I'm gonna ask permission.
Permission is not granted. Ever. Just back off.
Impressive that you made it back, Dedu. It was you who saved His Highness from prison. We, all of us, thought you were dead.
My wounds were severe, but I managed. So long as I draw breath, I fight for His Highness.
Is that so?
But in my absence, you have protected him. Thank you, Gilbert, for returning to us.
Stop. I left once. I have wondered if I will be forced to leave once more, after this battle is done.
Would you accept that? I imagine not.
Of course not.
You are still Gustav at heart, even now. I am not fit to replace you. Not yet. I still have a great deal more to learn. For now, all I can do is continue to be a shield for His Highness.
It is unlike you to be so talkative.
I could not be silent.
So long as you understand, I will leave the kingdom someday. It may not be until the day I die, but the time will come. This war. I'm a much older man than I was when it began. Sooner or later, someone must take my place. Do not try to carry the weight alone, Dedu. There are many talented and well-trained officers. Work together with them to assure our king's future. Do that, and when the time comes, I will rest well.
Thank you for the advice. However,
Yes?
it is too soon to treat you like an old man. You still have at least 10 years of service in you. Fargus, no. His Highness needs you. As do I. Save the old man talk for when you are truly senile.
A fair point. There's no reason to let old age make one timid.
Even as I work to surpass you, I still rely on you.
Is that so? Well then, we have more fighting ahead of us to do. We should get to it, for the future of Fargus.
What do you think?
If you travel east from the Alliance and cross Fodlan's Throat, you enter the land of Almyra. House Goneril's territory touches the eastern border of the Alliance. They also have Lord Holst, the most valiant warrior in the Alliance, tasked with keeping watch over the Almyrans' movements. He rarely leaves Goneril territory.
The Alliance leader is too demanding, and the prince is too soft-hearted, don't you think? They spilled much of each other's blood at Grondar. I lost a lot of friends to the Alliance. Sorry, I shouldn't complain. I know this is tactically sound. Everyone seems on board with it, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't have any misgivings.
Okay.
Here for the flowers again? You might as well have a look while you are here. I have two things to say. First, I thank you for supporting His Highness in my absence. But I must also admonish you for taking your own well-being too lightly. On several occasions, I have seen you protect others by putting yourself in harm's way. I am grateful for your efforts, but I feel you should place a higher value on your own life. His Highness relies on you, as do I. Then show that with your actions. We cannot afford to lose an invaluable asset like you, and this greenhouse would be a more lonely place without you in it. It would not be fair to the flowers to leave me their only caretaker. Someday, I hope to show you a whole landscape of these flowers in full bloom. Yes, once this conflict is over and His Highness ascends the throne, I believe it can be done. You must live at least until then. Understood? I had not thought much of my own life until now, except that I would gladly cast it aside for His Highness. That is still true, but now I desire to see the end of this war. Until I can show you the fields of Dusker in bloom, I will go on living.
What about Deirdre, the aquatic capital? I've heard it's a magnificent city, you know? If we're going, I wish it wasn't to wage war. It'd be more fun to visit with a cute girl on my arm. You're right. That's something to look forward to.
Oh.
Professor. Well,
I think. I was getting excited for our big Empire showdown. I spent so much time mentally preparing. Then we shifted focus to Deirdre. I hadn't been expecting that. But, as a knight who's sworn to serve the goddess, I cannot turn a blind ear to those who seek my aid.
We're still searching for Lady Rhea. No news on that, I'm afraid. Lord Arundel, the Emperor's uncle, is the regent of the Empire. If we crush them at Deirdre, maybe we'll capture him and wring some clues out of him.
You know...
Really? Please?
Tra-la-la-la-la, sing out over peaks, ring out over valleys, let my lovely voice echo through the streets and alleys.
I'm not good, but I'm loud. You might want to run for cover.
Pardon me.
I heard that Deirdre is under attack. I hope Judith is all right. She may be the hero of Daphne, but facing the might of the Empire? I wish there was something more I could do. But I can only...
Incredible. Dimitri is going to Claude's aid. How great is that? It's like we've gone back to how things were 5 years ago. It's so nice. Just imagine if 80 was there too. I suppose you can't ever really go back to the way things were in the past.
My uncle gave me some of my father's belongings. Weapons, books. But there was something else that my old man really wanted to pass down. He wanted me to inherit his mission, ensuring that Dimitri ascends the throne. Or so I believe.
What do you think?
What do you think? Remember the Death Knight who stabbed me 5 years ago? Of course you do. How could you forget? Well, it turns out he's a general in the Imperial Army, claiming victories on dozens of battlefields. But it looks like he's not at Deirdre. Like every man in my life, he's run away from me. And he better run. One day I'm gonna find that guy and pay him back for what he did to me.
What do you think?
Speaking of which, with the capital recaptured, I desire to call him Your Majesty rather than Your Highness. He would refuse my desire, rightfully pointing out that he has not as yet been crowned. However, the day this war is ended, and the Church has placed the crown upon his head, then he will truly be our king, and I will call him Your Majesty. I must go hear the reports from our spies. There is something worrying me, and... No, it can wait. I shall tell you more when our information is more concrete.
I thought there was a chance that Cornelia had captured Lady Rhea, but it seems that is not the case. Our next foe, Lord Arundel, was once a pious adherent to the Seros Creed. His contributions to the Church stopped quite abruptly some time ago. I think it is likely the man knows something.
You plan to aid Claude, do you not? Huh. I think that is absolutely marvelous. Being opposing forces at the Battle of Gronder was ill-fated. It hurt to side against him. I am happy that things have taken a brighter turn now.
Cornelia Arnhem. That's a familiar name, yes. She once studied in the Empire. My understanding is, shortly after I left the Empire, she, unlike myself, Cornelia traveled to the kingdom. Apparently, she halted a plague and was rewarded with a quite powerful appointment. That such an outstanding researcher should fall to such depravity. Sickening, Professor, and quite sad.
Even if we do enter Alliance territory, we're not gonna find Lady Rhea there. I wish we could leave Claude be and go attack the Empire. I suppose if we can't beat the Empire forces here, then we can't get into the Empire lands, can we? I guess that just means it's hard work time, huh, Professor?
Hello there.
Using the Great Bridge of Myrden as a base, we'll spread out and cover as much ground as possible in our search for Her Grace. Judging by the information we've gathered, the most suspicious location is definitely the Imperial capital, the Hrim territory, whose leader is a mere puppet, and the Ire territory, whose leader was deposed and disappeared. The Empire has a lot of places with suspicious happenings. It's certainly worth investigating, but it won't do to take too much time in relieving the Alliance army. Please, hurry.
So House Regan has regained its influence in the Alliance and is gathering forces. Claude always was somewhat inscrutable. It's strange somehow to hear talk of his brilliance as the leader of the Alliance.
Claude's a it's obvious, not... Wow, I can have this? Oh, thank you. Wow.
I love this stuff. Did you know that?
That looks appetizing.
I appreciate any good meal, but nothing beats enjoying my favorite food.
This looks delicious. Let's eat. This will be useful. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. Whew, that's a relief.
I answered correctly. No need for praise. I answered correctly. I appreciate...
My efforts bear fruit at last. You see,
That was helpful coaching.
Quite intrigued. Quite intrigued.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Thanks for your time. I appreciate your guidance. I appreciate your guidance.
I'd like you to explain something. Understood.
Thanks a million.
Oh, hey, Professor. Actually, I ran into that thief while I was shopping just now. Maybe you don't remember. It's been quite a while. The man who stole the book from that market stall. I saw him on the street with his kid. They were both so grateful. It's a really nice feeling. Yeah, but... it did seem like they were still having trouble getting by. I guess what you said to me back then was right. My actions didn't really solve the problem. I can't help everyone, no matter how much I try. If I had the money or power, maybe. But I don't. You know, a long time ago, Leonardo said nearly the same thing to me. I think it was when I tried to look after the horses all on my own. I really messed that up. He said, "You're not quite ready for this yet, but there's no need to rush." I know I can't help very many people right now, but I think doing what I can for those I see in front of me is still worthwhile. I have to believe that, at least. Thanks. That's reassuring to hear. What about you, Professor? Has anything been troubling you lately? I'd be happy to help, as long as it's not looking after horses. You might not want to trust me with that. I genuinely enjoy helping people. It's a great feeling making someone smile. So if there's anything I can do for you, I want to do it, because I care about you. You think so? It's just what anyone would do, really. So what'll it be? How can I help? Of course! I'd be glad to cook with you. Let's give it our all.
Yes, understood. Mission complete.
All that work was worth it.
I suppose it's working. Technique never betrays.